Welcome to the Build to Scale Secure AI Factory video series in partnership with the Alim H Media Network, an exclusive episode previewing Cisco Live 2026 in Las Vegas, Nevada. My name is Alim H, and today I'm joined with Rajeev Khanolkar and Matt Locknane from Gruve on what every Cisco AM buyer and operator should know before walking on the floor. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Alim.
Thank you, Alim.
When Cisco unveiled the Cisco AI Factory back in March of 2025 with NVIDIA, in plain English, what is the Secure AI Factory? Let's start off with you, Rajeev.
When you're using any AI applications, you're going to need to generate tokens. Now, to generate tokens, you need a factory to generate tokens if you're going to widely use them. So they have launched the concept. Industry has adopted it. Cisco has made a unique differentiation that AI factory infrastructure is secure using Cisco's security technology.
Matt, your perspective.
Rajeev basically spelled it out. The idea is you want an AI factory that you can put on-prem. You can control your token utilization. You could control your costs. You can control your security. And then you have the entire security wrapper around it coming from one of the leaders in the industry. And this is where I think Cisco has a true differentiation, is that there is a complete end-to-end story around secure AI factory, from prompt injection to guardrails around your LLM prompt and response, all the way through Isovalent to do security at the Kubernetes level. And then you've got the observability piece that's unmatched coming from Splunk Observability Cloud.
So why this silicon to software ideology?
Yeah, so it's a great question. If you think about how the industry has evolved, the silicon has become more and more standardized. You have the major players in the chipset manufacturing fields that are doing what they do, right? Where the differentiation comes is really on the software side. And this is an area especially relevant in today's AI world, where you're looking at the software that's being built, the AI applications, and who is building them. Not the CISOs and the security guys that are building these stacks. It's the line of business, right? And they're not necessarily concerned with churning out the most secure product. They want a product that actually works, that solves the use case that they're looking to solve at the ROI that they're looking to gain. And so the idea behind Secure AI Factory is let your developers develop these products. We've got the wrapper around it. You let them go nuts and build something that works, and let us control the security.
Just a few days ago, Cisco announced its Q3 earnings, and it seems like it's driven by the need for AI infrastructure. So Rajeev, for you, why is Cisco betting big on this, the AI infrastructure, the Secure AI Factory, and why now?
There are a couple of reasons for that. So number one is really companies' IP, intellectual property. Everybody's thinking that they got to have their own data center where they can host their AI models. And this is the IP that differentiates one company from other. So you want to hold that IP close to you. That's why there is a huge opportunity for data center. The second one is what companies have realized when they have done pilots with cloud providers, for example, people are running out of tokens and they don't even know what has happened. The other day, I read somewhere that Uber ran out of tokens in the first 4 months. You don't know what is happening. So if you take the two things together, it is very important that you want to own an AI factory that is your own AI factory that generates token, and you know what the expense is, you know how to manage it, and your data is protected. Who is a better player than Cisco that can bring everything together? Right. So that is why I feel Cisco is the right choice. And the time is now because everybody is looking at making this investment.
And it seems like tokens are the new platinum standard for organizations. Now, Matt, 2 months ago, back in March, Cisco just expanded the Secure AI Factory from the core now to the edge. Why does that matter to our customers?
Yeah, so look, it's all about speed. The closer to the edge you can put your inferencing workload, the quicker the response time. And this becomes really important when you look at certain verticals. For example, manufacturing, right? We work with a couple of automotive manufacturers that are looking at how do we control computer vision? You look at what Jensen has talked about for the last year, it's all about the physical AI implementations, right? You can't do that from a data center perspective where you've got latency issues, you've got other things. If you can put the inferencing workload right there, you can run an entire robotic station on your computer vision with zero latency. And that becomes not just important from a productivity standpoint, but from a safety standpoint. If you've got, large supplies moving down through a assembly line type environment, you've got to make sure that, if someone steps in front of that load, that there's no latency, that system can actually stop that. So, you look at other industries, mining, you look at oil and gas production, it's just a tremendous value. But even like, you think about like hospitals, right? So a lot of hospitals, for example, have AI that's doing image scanning and stuff like that. The closer we can put that to the customer edge, the easier it is and the quicker the response time is.
Right. It all surrounds the latency and the performance of having the AI factory or the AI infrastructure at the edge to support the applications and the users at that end. We're going to shift a little bit here. Cisco announced the acquisition of Splunk back in 2023, and they completed that in March of 2024. Where does Splunk fit in the overall bigger picture of the Cisco AI story?
Yeah, so great question, man. This is one thing that we get a lot from customers is, I could build a system on open source tools. Why would I use Splunk? The real answer is the speed to usefulness out of the box. If you look at how Splunk has got it, you set up your telemetry collector, you've got the ability to feed into Splunk Enterprise Security to provide an additional layer of information and protection that you can use for like somebody attacking your AI, but also you're getting all of the observability statistics out of your GPUs, your Cisco Intersight, your Red Hat statistics, all of your Kubernetes, everything is coming in and it's got out of the box dashboards that are useful within 10 minutes of setup.
Let's throw in Isovalent to that. Let's throw in Cisco to that, and coupling that with Splunk. How do all of these solutions fit together inside the secure AI factory? And why does this combination matter most?
We're talking about that full end-to-end security story. Observability is becoming a critical component of security. If we don't know what's happening in the environment, we can't see it. With the Isovalent piece, we could do like real application dependency mapping inside of our Kubernetes backend, which has traditionally been, not easy to see what's talking to what. So you look at customers who are downloading an MCP server off of GitHub. You don't know where that MCP server is actually sending data until you actually do some dependency mapping. You figure out what it's talking to. It could be sending your traffic off to Russia. You don't know. And so that observability piece really ties in well. And then again, looking at the whole end-to-end security story, even doing things like encryption, right? So if you look at the confidential computing conversations that are happening today, the advances in quantum computing and the ability to break encryption faster and faster and faster, right? Encryption was never about preventing access. It was all about making the data irrelevant by the time somebody could get access to it. Well, as that timescale goes down, you have a real challenge. And the nice thing about the encryption that Isovalent brings is that you still have visibility. So a lot of times when we turn on encryption on a back-end network, it becomes a black box. We don't know what's talking to what. All the data is encrypted. But because of the way that the Cilium CNI works, the data is encrypted at the CNI. So we have full visibility at that point, and then it's encrypted as it goes across to the other pods.
Complete story, security, shift and left, taking the mindset of the application owner and bringing it back into the whole silicon to software story. Now, Rajeev, shifting gears just a little bit here. Cisco launched the 360 Partner Program back in January 2026 with the new Secure AI Factory and Secure Networking Specialization. Cisco's calling this the Secure AI Factory, the partner opportunity for 2026. For a Cisco account manager or a client exec watching this, what does this actually mean for the customer conversation?
Let me answer in two parts. One, what is important here is if I look at Cisco's history of last 40 years, Cisco created a great program called CCIE. And my experience of dealing with CCIs or working with them, when they are in front of customers, that is an instant credibility that you had, that he or her is going to give me the right advice to do the right design, optimize it, etc. So that's the confidence you get. Now, what they are saying here is we have launched this partner certification program, which means you can rest assured that the company or the partner which is going to be involved, they are trained, they understand how to do the design, and they will do the right optimal design for the customers. That is the upfront confidence that customers are going to get just by looking at the certification based on Cisco's history. This is what I like about it. It's not an easy thing. There are 6 different products involved here. So it's difficult for customers to figure out which is the right partner. But this certification brings it all together.
Well, if I was looking at this from a customer perspective and I see this being launched from my account managers explaining this to me, I definitely have confidence in my partners who are specialized in these secure AI networking and the specializations moving forward. Totally agree with it because I'm a double CCIE myself, and I know, Matt, you have a CCIE yourself, so we're very confident in this program moving forward. Now, Matt, I got some interesting statistics for you. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
So Cisco's AI Readiness Index says that 28% of organizations believe their infrastructure can handle AI workloads. Yet 75 to 85% of enterprise AI workloads are now inferencing versus training. So now, Matt, where's the disconnect, or is there a disconnect?
There is a disconnect, absolutely. If you look at your traditional hyperscaler type data centers that were built on the training model, you need very, very low latency. You need one-to-one oversubscription ratios, because any pause in that traffic flow can actually corrupt that training job, and you might have to start from scratch, or you might have to, really slow things down. Inferencing is a little bit different. If we look at traditional chatbot optimization, so, you've got users that are going in and hitting a chatbot, and they might be a couple of tokens here and there, and then a long window, and then a couple of the more short tokens. And it's very uneven, kind of distribution of that scale. When you look at inferencing today and the agentic kind of revolution that's happened in AI, this is a completely different model, right? Where you have AI agents that are constantly communicating and talking to one another and coordinating across it. And you're actually seeing that utilization go up and up and up. And so a lot of these customers who think that they can get away with not necessarily training type latency requirements, but as they deploy these agentic AI solutions, that bandwidth is creeping up and it's causing problems. I think the statistics are probably right on point.
Have we reached the paradigm of that trust gap of training versus inferencing?
Most customers are not doing training in their environment today, but they may be doing some fine tuning, which is a type of training workload. The more challenging piece is, do you have all of the infrastructure that's needed to support whatever that workload is at scale? So where a lot of customers get bogged down is they do a proof of concept and they say, hey, this is working great as a proof of concept. Well, now it comes to scale out. How do I actually measure that performance over my entire data center rather than a simple one rack solution where everything's connected to the same switch? That becomes where the bottleneck is. These are complicated scenarios, right? And there is a skill gap. There is a learning curve to get to where you need to be in order to support those.
You mentioned it, a skill gap, understanding how to take your use case from pilot to production. Rajeev said you need qualified partners to help you get there because potentially for a customer themselves may not have the skills in order to fulfill that.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit and talk about the reality of the enterprise. Now, Matt, I'm coming back to you again. From your experience in speaking with your customers, your clients, your partners, your colleagues, and your peers, where do enterprises actually get stuck between the pilot and production aspect of it? And how can we help our viewers understand this a little bit better?
Where most customers stall out is they build that working prototype and they say, this works great. But then they get into the scale out phase. They don't know how to properly size it. They don't know how to properly scale the GPUs. They don't know if the network is capable of handling it. And so as these things scale out and you get more and more of this complexity, if you don't have the right skill set, you are going to create a mess. Basically what we call spaghetti AI, where we've got workloads over here, we've got workloads over here, and everybody's kind of building the same thing. There's a lot of overlap, but there's no real governance. And that becomes a major problem, not just from the technical side, but from a governance side. And a lot of enterprises aren't really thinking about this today.
Let's go one step further, Rajeev. From the conversations you have from the executive levels or from the VP of infrastructure and above, is what Matt's saying accurate?
What I have heard in my conversations, companies are saying POC is great. Now, while I'm processing some invoices, it looks great. In a pilot, I may be doing 100 invoices a day. Suddenly you go into production, can it do 10,000? And this is where the problem comes in. That do I need manual intervention? Nobody wants to make a mistake, right? I'm processing invoice and I'm checking some validity in SAP. And what you do not want to happen is my agent or workload says, yeah, it's okay. Or it is stuck because it is not able to get the answers. And it could have been caused by security issue or it could be performance issue. And this is where a big bottleneck is, in my opinion, in terms of scaling it. So they're not sure whether it should be on-prem or cloud. A lot of companies tend to be doing POCs in cloud, but now they realize that, hey, this is a situation where I want it on-prem because I get this big bill. The other day I was talking to a customer, they did some development in QA, they got a big bill of $400,000 and they don't know what they really consume. It's nothing physical, it's token, right? So that's the process they need to go through. That do I do on-prem versus do I do it in the cloud? If I do it on-prem, do I have the staff to properly support it, monitor it? Because you want uninterrupted environment for mission critical application. This is where I see number of challenges.
It's quite interesting to see this paradigm. So Rajeev, sticking with you, point blank question, local intelligence versus hyperscaler. And how should a CIO think about this? Now, before you answer, I read a report from Zscaler's data risk report back in 2025, and they say that they logged or found 4.2 million AI data loss violations in 2024. And McKinsey says that 71% of executives see sovereignty as existential. Given the conversation we're having right now, local intelligence or hyperscaler?
When I look at it, a lot of my career has been spent dealing with financials or healthcare companies. And what I see is these industries are highly regulated. So that is one part of the challenge. Other part is if you look at even a simple example, you have Citigroup, you have JP Morgan Chase, your US Bank, they're all banks. So what sets them apart one from the other? It's their internal IP, the way they do business, and it fits into certain customer profile versus the other. Somebody may be leasing planes, other may be leasing big manufacturing plants. They all have their expertise. What they don't want to lose is put that expertise in the cloud and with the thought that somebody else could have access to it. So obviously their tendency is to build something local. Where I found cloud beneficial here is doing a quick prototype. Take your concept, try it out. You don't need to set up infrastructure. It can be readily quickly set up. And then you decide whether, hey, is the IP or the data, it is a two-factor. Is it my IP or does it come under regulators that I need to make sure that it is protected? And those two answers should tell you whether you should build something on-prem or have my localization, or can I let it run because it is easy for me to set it up.
Matt, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, hybrid is never going to go away. The cloud is too easy to work with, is too easy to scale. And you look at like retailers, for example, they might have a AI chatbot or something that they use to service customers for the full year. But what happens at Black Friday time? They've got the holidays coming up. They need to scale dynamically. They can use a tool like Isovalent Network Mesh to extend their on-prem workload into the cloud, dynamically scale, and then bring it back when it's no longer needed. There's a lot of options that Cisco really brings to the table to help customers out, whether they're doing hybrid, whether they're doing full on-prem, or whether they're looking at getting from cloud to on-prem.
Exactly. Aside from token being the platinum standard for performance and latency, data has to be up there as well. That's also platinum standard for any organizations to maintain survivability. So Rajeev, speaking on the data aspect, Data sovereignty keeps coming up potentially in every board level conversation. I've been privy to a lot of them, and I'm sure both of you have. Is this a solvable problem, or is just executive anxiety about the sovereignty of the data?
So it is a complex issue. I think what is important over here at the board level is they're worried because if I lose the data, it's a credibility and there is a fiduciary responsibility of the board members to sign off on something. And if I do on-prem, there is a skills gap right now. That's the issue we are dealing with. If I were them, I would trust a company like Cisco, which is bringing a complete comprehensive solution. More importantly, they have a certification program. So you're going with somebody who has been well certified to deliver this. At the board level conversation, you got to take this into consideration. Can I trust Cisco? And can I trust their certification? And in my case, having worked with Cisco for a long time, answer in both cases is yes. To me, it's a solvable problem. It is going to take time. It's not overnight. It has to be planned and it has to be delivered in a very systematic way.
So now, Matt, RSA in March of this year, Cisco announced AI defense expansion for the agentic era. And it seems like from this announcement, agentic AI security is going mainstream. Now, what should our customers actually understand about this expansion?
A key factor in agentic AI is the use of MCP servers. And so AI Defense now has an MCP scanner that you can point at your MCP server, and it will actually, do a deep dive on that server and scan for vulnerabilities, scan for heuristics that indicate some kind of infection. And with the end-to-end story with Isovalent, for example, you can see what that MCP server is talking to on the outside. You can see what it's talking to on the inside. You can make sure it's doing what it's supposed to. The products working together, again, is the key. That whole defense in depth hasn't gone away just because of AI. It's actually gotten stronger argument for it because AI is no longer about deterministic security rules. It's all about probabilities, and that expands the attack surface greatly. So you need that defense in depth from your model all the way through your database, through the Kubernetes backend, all the way to the edge. And Cisco, again, has the only story that really covers that end to end.
I'm glad you mentioned, Matt, defense in depth. It hasn't changed. The paradigm have shifted just a little bit to now encompass agentic AI or AI applications and machine learning, inference, and training. When you put it all together for the expansion, it's kind of help reduce that trust gap. Cisco talks about a lot because MCP server is talking to another one. The AI agent is talking to MCP server. So now we're kind of reducing that trust gap.
So AI Defense is looking at the prompted response from the LLM, whether it's API based, whether it's proxy based mode. It sees the traffic and it makes a determination based on intent. And it's using its own LLM models in the background to determine that intent. Then it's giving either a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the conversation saying, hey, should I allow this or not? The nice thing about AI Defense is because the two modes that you have out there, you can actually choose what you want to do with it. For example, if I'm in proxy mode, then basically when I turn a guardrail on, then that conversation is being proxied through AI Defense. And if it blocks the conversation, that traffic never even hits my LLM, which saves me tokens. If API mode, let's say I'm an HR department and I've got HR employees that need to be able to get PII information out of a database, but I've got other employees who shouldn't have access to that. I can use the API mode. I can send a query and say, hey, should this be allowed? And AI Defense can return a thumbs down and say, hey, this is personally identifiable information, this response. But the application then can have some built-in RBAC controls that say, hey, this user is allowed versus another user that shouldn't be allowed.
Right, exactly. And Gruve AI have the breadth and depth and expertise to make this all happen. I have a quiz for you guys right now. So Rajeev, Matt, from your perspective, what's flying under the radar Cisco Live US this year? Is it A, Isovalent? Is it B, edge inferencing? Is it C, AI canvas? Or D, something else? Rajeev, go first.
I'm seeing a lot of PRs, emails, etc. In my opinion, what is most under advertised is Isovalent. Isovalent gives you that visibility into AI infrastructure like no other product. I'm not seeing a lot of the PR there around the benefit that it can bring to customers in giving that assurance that AI workloads are protected. I'm not seeing enough of it. A lot of talk around AI defense, AI factory, talked about version of open cloud, etc., etc. I haven't seen Isovalent.
All right, so you pick A. What about you, Matt?
I'm going to pick the same answer. We've been giving these Secure AI Factory test drives around the country in conjunction with Cisco. And when they hear Secure AI Factory, what they think of is AI defense. That's the flashy part. That's the part that gets all the advertisement. But the Isovalent piece underneath, I think, is absolutely more critical to the security component. The AI defense piece is just like the LLM interaction, right? Isovalent has so many different use cases, and not just with AI, but with traditional Kubernetes workloads, compute workloads as well. There's Isovalent Bridge coming out. There's a network mesh functionality. There's so many different things with tetragon policies that you can implement. Isovalent is really a key security component that has not gotten the PR that it really deserves at this point. But I will say AI Canvas is very, very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to see what the team has done.
I'm hearing that it's more on the application security side. And that's really underrated when it comes from the Cisco landscape and the Cisco breadth and depth. That's very interesting that you both chose Isovalent. For me personally, I'll say security. When an AM or client exec bring Groove AI into a deal, what specifically changes and how fast that deal moves forward? And Rajeev, I'd like you to answer first.
Here is an important thing that changes when an AM is bringing us in. First of all, AM has understood or realized that there is an opportunity with a customer, so they're given a high level pitch. But when customer looks at the architecture of Secure AI Factory, they need to have that assurance that the person they're talking to or person who is going to help them with their wide design has the competency, has the experience to create the right architecture and a scalable architecture, right? It's going to give them the plan. When AM brings a group consultant to the meeting, customer instantly gets that confidence. And that's what we have seen over and over again. And that's really a very simple message. You bring the expert who is going to help you design a system that is going to work today and give you a plan for scalability as you need.
Matt, you are the VP of Consultant Engineering. So what are your thoughts about the AM bringing in Groove AI to the conversations, and how quickly does that deal move forward?
It's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. One of the challenges that AM and even generalist SEs have is the amount of products that is included in the Secure AI Factory stack becomes overwhelming to learn on your own. And so we have a team that we bring in. It's not just me. It's not just Rajeev. We have a team of specialists that come in and understand the full stack. We built it ourselves in our lab. We built it for customers, and we have the experience to go out and deploy this. So the acceleration through the process is really what you're getting from us. There's no guesswork.
How deep are the Groove team?
It's very deep. We've got 700 plus employees at this point, and we're continuing to hire and grow. We take our training very seriously, from our sales to our pre-sales to our delivery organization.
I've seen some proof of concepts and point of views that you guys presented, and I have to say it's really on point, and I'm quite impressed. And our customers will be interested in speaking with Cisco and Groove AI in the next conversation. Let's go ahead and shift the paradigm now to Cisco Live. As we all know, Cisco Live US 2026 is happening from May 31st to June 4th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, Rajeev, there will be over 20,000 in attendance. What is one thing that a Cisco account manager or client exec should know about walking into the floor Cisco Live this year?
I would have one simple message for us. We are part of AI Village, which is a very unique area that Cisco has put together. There are a number of AI companies, but we are there. So if they believe that, hey, I need a partner, where do I find? Come and look for us. And we are going to be there. I'm going to be there. Matt is going to be there. A number of our experts are going to be there. Come and see us at our booth.
All right, absolutely. And I think we have some great demos at the Groove AI booth. For those who are watching, it'll be a great opportunity to meet the Groove AI team at Cisco Live US 2026, May 31st to June 4th. Let's do a little bit of role playing here, Rajeev and Matt. Let's take off the Chief Strategist Officer hat and the VP of Pre-Sales and Engineering hat for a moment and walk into Cisco Live as a buyer. What should you be looking for, And how does that change if you're a builder versus an operator?
Yeah, great question. For me, networking is in my blood, the data center space especially. I'm looking at the innovations around the Spectrum X-based switches, the Nexus 9100s, the Silicon One chipset, the advancements that have been made in the Hyperfabric this year, and then all of the observability tools, including the new updates to Nexus Dashboard Insights and some of the other things that are out there. Really cool stuff. A lot of innovation coming out of Cisco. That is the biggest thing for me for the last 2 years now. Cisco has really been innovating. I look at the security side, and I'm really excited about the things that they're doing there as well. We're an AI company, so that's where my focus is going to be, but my heart's always going to take me back to my roots, which is the networking.
What about you, Rajeev? Take off your chief strategist officer hat for a moment and go in there as a buyer. What is your perspective and what you're looking for?
I have spent last 2 decades on security. That is at the heart of everything I'm doing. Obviously, AI has given whole another dimension to security. So I'll be looking at Cisco solutions like what are they looking with zero trust networking? I think that's very important going forward. What are we doing with hypermesh firewall? And how are we using Splunk? What are the new innovations from observability and security? That's what I'll be looking for. But at the same time, like Matt, I'm excited about networking technology because I'm seeing for the first time in the last few years networking and security is coming together. So I want to understand where is Cisco with network security and how it is going to evolve as we move forward in the AI world. Those are the kind of things I'll be looking for.
I agree. And I think for myself, I want to see the complete Cisco One story. The AI-ready data centers that's now encompassing enterprise, future-proof workplace, and the digital resiliency all wrapped into one. I think that we have that here with the secure AI factory. And like Matt, you said, like the innovations from the last 2 years from Cisco, it seems as if Cisco is moving into their renaissance period now. And it's very exciting to see what will come out of Cisco Live US 2026. Now, one last question, and this is a fun one. What are each of you personally excited to see or do at Cisco Live US 2026 this year? Rajeev, you first.
This is something I realized after COVID that during that 2 year period, I didn't see any of these Cisco friends. That involved Cisco team members, customers, partners. This is like one big family. And when I returned to Cisco Live after COVID, I was so excited to meet. This is an annual event for me to get together with people with the same mind. They're looking to achieve the same things. That's what excites me about. I'm looking forward to interacting with Cisco execs. I have a number of meetings, number of GMs, but I go all the way down to even the TMEs and the engineers who make the difference in the day-to-day working of Cisco and Cisco partners. That's what I'm looking for.
You're looking for that human connection. And ironically, wasn't that a mantra of Cisco? You want the human connection. Matt, what about yourself?
For me, in my role, I don't get to spend a whole lot of time with customers anymore. Like Rajeev, I've got a lot of Cisco friends that I love to get together and see. But for me, Cisco Live is the one chance that I get to see my customers on a face-to-face basis and catch up with them. Again, it's about the human connection. Because look, the very close-knit industry, if you think about it, right? It's a big industry, but there's so many people that I've run into from the past that I've worked with. And it's just great to be able to get together with like-minded people, discuss topics of interest, and really just kick back and have some fun.
Absolutely. I think for myself is to see all of our partners, our colleagues, our peers, all under one venue, seeing all the new solutions or up-and-coming solutions at the Solution Innovation Center. And of course, spend some time with the both of you at the happy hour that we have here going up. I can't wait. I have a Gatsby hat. I'm looking forward to wearing that and speak with you guys live there. I can't wait for Cisco Live US 2026 to happen May 31st to June 4th. Well, gentlemen, I think that's a wrap on this episode of Built to Scale, the Secure AI Factory, Cisco Live Preview. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Alim. Really appreciate it.
For all those who are watching and new to the channel, don't forget to leave a comment because we'd love to hear what you have to say. And also like, subscribe, and follow the Gruve AI podcast and the Alim H Media Network. Until next time.